been a while since I made another video, but now is the time for it. So this time will be the first time I will ever travel out of my country in almost 2 years, I think. And what we're going to try is to attempt to enter Philippines. We kind of thought about this for a quite long time, and we think this is going to be possible. So it's worth giving it a try, and let's see if it succeeds. Good. 1 hour of minimum wage in the US. At least what they're petitioning for. 138 too, that's crazy. Oh shit. I hope this one is not going to break when we get there.
I hope so.
Yeah, business class. Cutting out the line quite significantly. So I went to the check-in, and apparently they require us to have a hard copy of some documents. So I've gone here to try to print something, and the price is kind of ridiculous, 75. So let's just hope that this one doesn't crack open during the flight. If so, that's going to be, well, I don't know what is going to happen then, other than that it will flow out on the entire airplane. But I hope this lot that I bought is going to be enough. Okay, I actually had a plan to record a little bit while we were in Garde Moon. Right now we are in Doha, Qatar. And the reason why I didn't record, well, we simply didn't have enough time. A series of really stressful events occurred. I'm going to go a little bit more into detail about it later on, but right now I just want to take a breather. So now we're on the flight to Clark, and hopefully, I'm crossing my fingers, everything will go well and we will not come across any big obstacles that will prevent me from entering. I've been looking forward for this for a long time. So let's see what happens. Oh yeah, by the way, in Oslo we bought our Southeast face shield because it's mandatory to have that in Philippines apparently. So this is going to be the first time I'm going to wear one of these. And I think I didn't make it clear, but well, you might probably have seen that it looks completely like still quarantine rules and such in Oslo, or at least in Gardermoen. But the fact is, Norway has actually recently completely reopened. There's actually no such thing as corona control anymore. So the only exception is really Gardermoen, or the main airport. There they still have these, mask mandates and social distancing rules and capacity rules. But beyond that, Norway is completely reopened. So thankfully, that's good for us. So it's going to be a really big contrast to go to the Philippines. I can already notice that right here. It's a little bit different, but still quite a lot of people. So this is going to be interesting to see. Don't comment. Okay, we just arrived, but we didn't arrive in the terminal that I was hoping for. We arrived at the old Clark terminal, so a little bit disappointing. Now we're waiting for the PCR test. Alright, we got all the health documents, search approved. Took quite a long time, lots of back and forth walking. And now it's going to be the moment of truth, whether I will be able to enter the Philippines. So let's cross our fingers and see what happens. I did it! We got in. I managed to get in too. No problem with getting through the immigration. And right now it's probably the first time we've been able to have a breather, so I will try to explain briefly how the whole trip has been. But maybe first it would be a good idea to show the room. It's not so big, it's a little bit messy, you see here. Yeah, just started to unpack. Should probably go a little bit through our troubles, why this travel here was so stressful. So actually I should start off. There's only one way you can get into Philippines as a foreigner right now, if you're not a diplomat, if you're just going on tourist visa, and that is if you are married to a local. And that is me and my girlfriend. We actually did get married, but there was only one way for us to get married. There was a lot of complications, such as she overstaying in Norway because her flights kept getting cancelled due to capacity issues from the airports. So we only have one option, and that was to marry through a US county clerk. Some US states does not require the county clerk to even be in the US at the time of the marriage. It can be basically anywhere in the world. So we went for that option, and although it was expensive, it at least gave us a license or a certificate to provide. And then when we get to the airport at the check-in, we are being questioned for this certificate. And the guy who was doing the check-in for us, he was on a long phone call with a immigration bureaucrat in the Philippines. And it probably lasted 10 minutes, that whole phone call, and we were just thinking if I will just be denied. But eventually said, okay, go ahead. So one obstacle overcome, and then the next one will be for my girlfriend to go for immigration. Because of her overstaying for quite a while, they reacted to that, but it has been pretty clear by our sort of equivalent of Bureau of Immigration that due to the current situation, it is understandable, and as long as you provide all the cancellations that the airliner has given you, it shouldn't be really any problem, but we could still face an expulsion case for her. And now the most stressful part, I assumed would be the most stressful, but turned out to be maybe the easiest of all, was that for the immigration officer in Philippines to accept our certificate. And he just looks at it for maybe a few seconds and then stamps my passport, and I'm allowed in. And apparently, I think we actually got scammed. The thing is, some people might come across this thing called ECIF, which is some sort of a document to, it kind of works like a record of you. And right now, as from what we know and what we've been told at the airport, ECIF is only through Philippine Red Cross. But if you Google ECIF, you will come across pages not from Philippine Red Cross, and that requires a fee to pay. And when we went to the airport, or arrived at the airport, the people there say that that's an anomaly and it's most likely a scam because it should only come from Philippine Red Cross. In addition, we would actually not need that because one health pass will be enough for us. So just be aware of this, all right? Okay, second day of quarantine. There's been a little bit of a change today from yesterday. We have gotten a new place, mostly because the one we had previously was pretty noisy and the aircon made a lot of noise. In addition to the fact that we thought the aircon was broken, but that didn't seem to be the case. But it's good that we have a little bit of a bigger place. You see, well, 2 beds, but we don't need that. And also it has very, very nice view. I should probably mention that we are at the Euro-Asia Hotel. It's not too far from Clark. The one we had on the first day cost 2,100 per day, but as we decided to get a little bit better one, we had to add 500. So all of this is for 2,600. But I think it's going to be worth the price. I think these quarantine hotels in general are a little bit above the standard rate. Alright, it's been a long time since I've seen these ones. It's kinda miss them. Although personally I prefer the tap water from my country, but I probably should use both hands with this. There we go. So now finally the first meal that I will ever get to eat in Philippines for a long time. I miss this. This is beef tapa, if you haven't recognized it. And of course the also pinakbet, which I also really like to have in addition to this. Third day. Today we're having lechon kavali and sisig from the hotel, so I'm wondering if this is going to taste good. I heard the sisig is quite okay. Let me try. Yeah, quite good, and the lechon kavali is a little bit crispy. Yeah, also pretty good. Oh, so these videos are probably not going to be so exciting as we're just stuck in the same place for 7 days. So I'm going to try to add in a few interesting facts or tips each day. So the first tip I'm going to mention is, well, there's this theory, or it's kind of scientifically proven, that in order to beat jet lag, you should reset your circadian rhythm, as it's called. And by doing that, it's recommended that you do not eat anything for 16 hours. Or more. And then when you eat breakfast, it should be around breakfast time, around the place where you're supposed to be. So yeah, around 8-10 a.m. in the Philippines, that should work. But for me, it seems like it didn't work very well, but that could be just because the bed is very hard, so it's difficult for me to sleep. But I'm still feeling kind of jet lagged, so it might not work for everyone, but it's worth giving it a try, at least. Day 3. As you can see, I've set up my sort of home office here in the hotel. It's pretty much just my PC and a mouse. And also today we got ourselves SIM card. And we're not sponsored by Globe or anything. It's just that from my experience at least, Globe has the most reception. But that was 2 years ago, so it probably have changed. I mean, there's been a lot of phone towers built recently, so I could be wrong, but let's just see how this one goes. Probably going to stick with that. Fifth day? I lost count already. Starting it off with breakfast, of course. And if you're staying here in Eurasia, we kind of recommend you to get pancit guisado. It is actually really good. And other than that, I've set up this one. This is my PC for editing and, you know, playing games, because you never know when you're gonna get bored. This is so much better to edit. When I was the last time, I only had my ThinkPad and I had no mouse or any, you know, earphones to listen to the sound is, and it was so difficult to cut and drag the videos. But this, with this mouse here, it just what I've done now in a couple of maybe 15 minutes or so, I would have spent at least an hour on when I was here the last time. Day 6. Interesting fact: quarantine is boring as hell. So it's the 7th day, and now we're just waiting for the swab. And as we call the reception, they are apparently right here now. We're just waiting for them to come to our room. You can actually hear them outside there. So this is going to be the second time I get my nose diversionized. The first time wasn't so good. How it feels, May? May, how are you? It's May's turn first.
Another one.
And after her is me. Is it both notes?
Yeah.
Oh. It's okay. It's like that all the time. I'm not crying.
Yay.
Thank you. I just always tear up whenever they pull the swab test out of the nose. I don't know why, it feels so uncomfortable. But let's cross fingers, as we always do here, that this one turns out negative for both of us. Otherwise, it's 2 more weeks in quarantine. Okay, the day we all been waiting for, and we have the results here, and it came out negative. Unfortunately, we failed the corona test, so I think we have to... So this means that we can finally go out and enjoy our lives once and for all. So we got everything packed up now. Just basically waiting for her sister to pick us up, which is around 2-hour drive. She should be here in a long time now. It feels so unusual to walk here. Like in age to
If it cannot withstand that, then
I think it will be fine. And now we're just waiting for her sister to arrive. She should be here around any moment now. Okay, she's not far away at all. Just right down the road.
Yeah.
Okay. Freedom.
You want to sit where?
I'll sit in the front seat. Shotgun. Yeah.
Osynlig för blotta ögat, men med påtaglig närvaro, dansar gruvfrun.